Hello, everyone. I'm Blaine Gilmer here for Southeastern 14, and it is a preview of Week 4 college football action here in the SEC as the Arkansas Razorbacks will be taking on the Texas A&M Aggies in Arlington in Jerry's World, AT&T Stadium in the Southwest Classic. So it is going to be a great game that we're looking forward to and looking forward to predicting right here. But if you like to predict things and you like to be involved in different contests throughout the week, you should consider using the Stakes app because Southeastern 14 has partnered up with Stakes, guys. And if you like to predict things in college football without risking your payroll, well, this is the right app for you. Predict anything in the game and take the game excitement to the next level. Guys, you can play against your friends on the Stakes app. So make sure you do that go to playwithstakes.com/14 and sign up with the invite code Southeastern14 for a double welcome bonus. Now let's go ahead and get to the Arkansas versus Texas A&M preview. As we said here, this game is taking place in AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, neutral site game. A&M opens up as a 2.5-point favorite after defeating Miami this past weekend. Arkansas had a little bit more of a fight than they expected, with Missouri State having Bobby Petrino returning back to DWR for the first time since all that craziness went on at the end of his tenure there. Ultimately, they get it done and enter this contest 3-0 with wins over Cincinnati, South Carolina, and of course Missouri State. Texas A&M famously had the upset loss to App State and was highly doubted coming into the Miami game. In fact, I thought that Miami would be able to take care of business over there, but the switch from Haynes King to Max Johnson, while it didn't fix every offensive problem that Texas A&M has, it did make them a more competent offense, it seemed. So all-time Arkansas 43-33-3. Arkansas snapped a 9-game winning streak by the Aggies last year with their win in the Southwest Classic a year ago in 2021. This game is going to be weaknesses and strengths aligning. Okay, you have a Arkansas pass defense that is suspect at best, is a weakness for them, and you have that as a weakness for the Texas A&M Aggies, as they have just not been able to push the ball down the field like they would like to, like Jimbo Fisher would like to. Not great by any metrics that you judge the passing game on. They have a lot of improvement to go there, but there are strengths here where Arkansas is very strong in the run game, very physical at the line of scrimmage. So is Texas A&M on the defensive side. So there are strengths and weaknesses aligning here. Which one is going to win out when it comes to those? Who are the real SEC West contenders in this one? Both of these teams are looking to challenge Alabama. Arkansas challenged Alabama last year. Texas A&M beat Alabama last year. So they're trying to kind of stake down who is going to be that challenger to Alabama in the SEC West. And then, of course, this is a neutral site environment, so a little bit different game day environment. I know people would love if this would go to a home-and-home type atmosphere, but it is worth noting there that it's going to be more of that almost corporate type feel environment. People are going to have to get there and get loud to get things rocking there in AT&T Stadium. Here's a look at the numbers, guys. You can see points per game. Arkansas's got a much more prolific offense coming into this one. Texas A&M has not been very good at all, guys. 20.7 points a game. That's 108th in the country in terms of putting points on the board, but they've been equally as bad as they've been offensively. They've been equally as impressive on defense. 10th in the country, allowing only 8.7 points per game. Arkansas is allowing, on the other hand, 27 points a game. That's only good enough to be 79th in the country. You can see Arkansas is averaging right at 500 yards per game. The balance is there between 256 yards passing, 243 yards rushing. So good balance for Sam Pittman's team. Kendall Briles doing a good job of mixing it up, even though the run is kind of what drives things for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Really abysmal for Texas A&M when you look at it. Only 208 yards passing per game, and that's with some elevated stats coming out of the Sam Houston State game, and only 105 yards on the ground. In that App State game in week 2, Texas A&M didn't rush for or pass for 100 yards. So got a lot of improvement to come along when it comes offensively. You can see the difference in the defensive numbers allowed. Arkansas, that's a little worrisome there. 353 passing yards allowed per game, doing quite well against the run, however. And when it comes to Texas A&M, they're allowing right around 150 for both, a 301-yard average. You can see on the red zone efficiency a little bit skewed there, okay? And the reason is because Texas A&M is 100% on the year in the red zone, but they've only been to the red zone 3 times, guys. It shows you how Texas A&M, and that's 3 times in 3 games. It shows you that Texas A&M is struggling to move the football consistently. They're having to rely on some big plays and things like that, and then they're not able to sustain drives to get down there and get the points that they needed, that they need. Arkansas's done a good job. They're 12 of 14 on scoring chances this year in the red zone, 10 touchdowns, 2 field goals on the year, 85.7%. Good for tied for 63rd in the country. They would like that number to be a little bit better, but overall, not a bad job by Arkansas in the red zone efficiency. Now, when it comes to the turnover battle, Texas A&M, admittedly, lots of their turnovers came when Haynes King was at quarterback. Now they got Max Johnson at quarterback. A turnover margin of 0 for the year. Arkansas is +1 on turnover. Guys, Texas A&M should be getting back Evan Stewart, Denver Harris, some of the guys that were suspended a week ago for a violation of team rules. I wouldn't imagine them sitting out this one unless they just totally have not gotten the message across. Evan Stewart retweeted a post about how Texas A&M, has the players but doesn't have the scheme, things like that. Denver Harris doing some reckless driving type stuff, all this kind of stuff, distractions after that A&M loss to App State. So decided to suspend them, and that was a big game they were suspended for. Texas A&M lost a couple guys to targeting in that game early on, so they'll be able to play in this Arkansas game, but they were thin back there in the secondary and still played really good team defense. Texas A&M did. Guys, it's going to be a back and forth type game here, but ultimately, I just don't know, and I'm going to go ahead and put the score prediction up here. Ultimately, I just don't know that Texas A&M's defense, if they're on the field as much as they have been in these first 3 games, I don't know if they're going to be able to consistently hold up against a very, very talented Arkansas running attack. Arkansas, just with Rocket Sanders, with KJ Jefferson, the other host of backs that they can bring in there, AJ Green, big, physical, and experienced offensive line up there in front, as talented and as strong as Texas A&M's defensive front is. I think over time you're going to see Arkansas start to lean on Texas A&M a little bit and kind of pull away late when it comes to being able to break off some runs. Arkansas's first in the country when it comes to sacking the quarterback. They can really pressure the quarterback, whether it's Drew Sanders, whether it's Landon Jackson, a host of guys over there, Williams, so many players that can get after the quarterback for Arkansas, and Barry Odom's going to dial up some pressures. You saw Miami get a lot of pressure on Texas A&M this past week, even though they didn't get home quite as much, and that's a credit to Max Johnson. He's able to use his leg and pick up some key third downs for Texas A&M when he needed to, and be able to make some things happen with his arm as well. But ultimately, I think Arkansas is going to pressure Max too much, and ultimately, I think they'll create some turnovers, and that'll be the difference in the game here. I think Arkansas wins this one 24-20, in Jerry's World, AT&T Stadium. Remember that Southeastern 14 is brought to you by Stakes. You can go to playwithstakes.com/14. Use the promo code Southeastern 14 and get double the bonus right off the bat. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time on a Southeastern 14 preview.